Hey guys, it is Tyson from Pinnacle Performance and Nutrition here. We're going to do a video review on Juiced Energy, which is a product that literally arrived yesterday into the shop. I have yet to try it. I have a sample of the slash berry flavor that we'll end up giving a go. I'm super excited to give it a run. On paper, the formula looks great. It's a product that I've already had a ton of questions about before it even arrived to the shop. So I'm stoked to kind of make this video because I know people are definitely going to be interested in the product. So these guys are a Queensland-based company, so they're an Aussie-based company, which is cool as well. I love having more Australian sports supplement companies in the shop. They launched not that long ago, just a couple of months back, and I've got a little debrief of what they've defined themselves as, and then the rest of the video is going to be my opinion and my breakdown of the product. So essentially, what is Juiced Energy? On their website they had written, Juiced Energy is an Australian owned and manufactured sugar-free energy drink. Driven by our slogan, more than energy, we set out to build a brand that provided more to our consumers than just a satisfying energy drink. We wanted to create a brand whereby every time you sipped on a product by Juiced, you felt the same feeling you had when you were a kid, creative, inspired, and limitless. And I think it's exactly that. It is an energy drink alternative. I wouldn't say it's a hardcore nootropic product like some of the ones that we've had in the shop in the past and have currently like your attention. It is definitely in that like G Fuel Gamer Subs type market. But in saying that, the formula is definitely better. I haven't tasted it, so I've got no idea, and this will literally be the first time that I give it a run. So I think the order that we'll go through is I'm going to try it first so I can actually taste it, and then we're going to shift through the formula and give it a breakdown. But we're not going to do too many kind of like comparatives, but that could be something if you guys wanted to see like a head-to-head between two different products in the same category, such as something like a Juiced and a G Fuel or an FPS, or even something in that higher kind of category like your attention, and kind of see like where the differences in those kind of products are and why one's more expensive than the other, etc. So this is the slash berry. Hopefully you guys can see the tubs on the shelf behind me, but it comes in 5 flavors. You've got Blue Spark, the slash berry, which I've got, Grape Blast, Razor Melon, and Seismic Cola. From mixing it up, I'm assuming that this slash berry is just a raspberry flavor. But one of the owners, when I asked him what flavor I should try, he said, quote unquote, slash berry is a vibe, or is my vibe at the moment. So I was like, all right, we'll give that one a go. But definitely smells like raspberry. It's not bad. I mixed it with like a ton of water. So it's not like overpoweringly strong, which is good. I actually prefer that in like pretty much all of my supplements to not be like just crazy strong. I'm trying to put it on like a level to where most people who are probably watching this have tried G Fuel. I would say like the intensity of the flavor is that of like a Bahama Mama, where it's not like crazy strong, but it's just a raspberry flavor, so it's not as sweet as like some of the crazy like candy ones that they do. It has pretty good like mouthfeel to it as well. I know it's a weird concept, but that's something that like a lot of these kind of energy drink alternative / nootropic gaming companies go for, is to have good mouthfeel, because they're competing against mainstream energy drinks, and like that kind of carbonation and that mouthfeel that those drinks provide is one of the main reasons that people drink them. So they've got to try and replicate that somehow in their product. If it was just a watered down flavor energy drink, people wouldn't, I guess, like want to consume it as much. So giving it some sort of mouthfeel is super important. So this definitely has that. Hopefully you guys have already kind of had a look through it, and then that way, as I'm kind of reading through this, you guys can probably follow along with me. As I said, you got 5 flavors. It's a 40 serve tub, 7 gram serve, and it retails at $59.95. All right. On the front of it, you've got Focus, Energy, React, and Speed. So these are the goals of the product. I don't know. You do, the speed side of things, I don't know, like in terms of reactivity, what the kind of ingredient that they have in here that would be like the main thing to help with reactivity. I know there's been a few studies on an ingredient called New Level, which is in like Ghost Gamer, it's in FPS and stuff like that, which has had some positive studies to show benefit to reaction time. The rest of it though, I would definitely say it's more of a energy and focus. I guess they could probably correlate focus having the benefit to reaction time, but to start working my way through the formula, hopefully we can throw a nutritional panel up on the screen here and work along with me. So first ingredient, which is, it's not weird to see taurine in a nootropic energy formula. It actually isn't a lot. I've seen it in the kind of maximum dose of 3 grams in alternative energy products. We have it here in an 800 milligram serve. And the reason that they're gonna have it in here at all is really to help with blood flow, all right? It's gonna help with blood flow to the brain as an anti kind of fatigue, body-brain ingredient in here. Obviously that's what it's utilized for in mainstream sport subs as well. But that anti-fatigue for, you know, cognitive benefits that's why it's essentially. It's weird kind of being like, you know, normally if we're talking about taurine, if you've watched any of the other pre-workout breakdowns and stuff, it is to help with blood flow, help with anti-fatigue, but from a physical performance aspect, but it still has that same effect from a cognitive perspective as well. It's on the lower side of the dosage, obviously, but that's also because it's more of a physical performance ingredient, so they don't need to have it in here a lot. And if they had it in here in a massive serve, you'd probably question whether it's just being used as like a filler anyway. So it's good that they've kind of gone more, you know, harder on the other ingredients that it's actually designed for. The second ingredient you have is L-Tyrosine. L-Tyrosine is going to help with increasing dopamine and noradrenaline. So basically to help with that mental focus aspect of things, to help with, you know, increasing those neurotransmitters that improve our focus, improve our cognitive function. I had written down here that normally we have a dose between 500 milligrams to 2 grams. I've seen it upwards, you know, closer to that 2 gram mark in some of your, it's like more clinically dosed nootropics, but 500 milligrams is definitely going to get the job done. And once again, we're kind of looking at this product for what you're paying for, which is $59.95 for a 40 serve tub. So if you were getting 2 grams of tyrosine and crazy doses of these nootropics, they probably would be breaking even on a product like this. So 500 milligrams is definitely what you'd expect to see, which is more than enough for what you're paying for, and more than enough to actually have an effective dose of tyrosine as well. So moving down the list, something that I would say is probably in a less effective dose is your lion's mane mushroom extract. Now, generally you'd want to see this at like 3, I'd be happy with double, but 3 to 4 times the amounts in a 250 milligram dose. You do see it in other kind of nootropics at like closer to 1 gram. The reason I think that they haven't done that is it's so hard to flavor. When you have mushroom extracts in large doses in products, they taste so bad, like so bad. And I think that's one of the main reasons that they have it here in a 250 milligram dose. And because there is a couple of different, you know, nootropic products in there, they do kind of work in synergism, but 250 milligrams on the lower side. Lion's mane has had, you know, some studies to show positive effects once again on cognitive function, but in 250 milligrams, it's really in there, I'm assuming, to kind of just work in synergism. They're not going to probably, you know, talk too much about lion's mane extract in their product debrief because it is in such a small dose. Next ingredient we have is caffeine anhydrous in a 225 milligram dose. Now that is on what I would consider the higher end of caffeine for a product like this. Now most are going to sit between 150 and 200 per scoop. So 225 is a tad higher than most. And you know, it's probably going to be a good thing if you're someone who does like double scoop some of those alternative products. I would highly recommend not double scooping something like this, even if you are like, oh, I want that gram of tyrosine, or you know, I want that higher dose of alpha GPC. We'll get to that, you know, which we're going to want a higher dose of alpha GPC because it's not very high in here. But if you're going to double scoop this, it's 450 milligrams of caffeine, which is honestly like the upper limit for most of our performance-based pre-workouts in here. And the amount of theanine in here isn't going to level out. Oh no, it would level out that amount of caffeine, but if you were training, not if you were just trying to get work done. Most likely it's not going to actually help you tunnel vision focus. You're probably just going to get real jittery and anxious, and probably feel more scattered. So it's definitely designed to only be used in a 1 scoop serve, and I would highly recommend not surpassing that. And the fact that they have the 225 in there, yeah, so it is on the higher side, I would say personally. But I'm also not a high stim guy. I do consume a lot of caffeine in a day, but it's kind of very like spread over the day versus just huge doses. So a little bit higher on that caffeine limit that's there. You have 200 milligrams of vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid, just to help with utilizing all the active ingredients that are in here. Don't look at that as any sort of like, oh, it's in there for immunity and stuff. It's definitely in there just to help with the absorption of the ingredients that are in here. We have alpha GPC, which I wrote down here. Oh no, so 150 milligrams it's dosed at. And normally we would want to see that at about a 300 milligram mark. And that's pretty standard to see it at a 300 milligram mark as well. So it is on the lower side of things, especially because with alpha GPC, it's like standardized, I think it's 40% actual choline. So it's, it is definitely on the lower side when you're thinking about something like having choline in there, to try and increase that acetylcholine in the brain to help once again with our cognitive function. So 150 milligrams, once again, we're looking at synergism here across the ingredients, and we're also looking at the fact that it's 40 serves for $59.95, which, you're comparing that to all the other products in the same category that are more expensive, and a lot of them get less. Like, if we're comparing this to, once again, I'm not, like, I love G Fuel as a product, but like if we're comparing apples to apples, this is cheaper and you're getting way more actives in it. Like, they're not even comparable. The only reason that you may even like pay the extra is like if the flavors are something that are, you're a huge fan of G Fuel from that perspective. But same amount of serves, better actives, cheaper. So I wouldn't expect it to be anything insane at this price once again. So next up on the list, we have bitter orange extract. The reason that this is in here is it contains synephrine. Synephrine has vasodilating properties, so once again, it's just going to help with blood flow to the brain to help our actives have, or to be more effective. So to help that tyrosine with production of dopamine and norepinephrine, to help with the acetylcholine production from that alpha GPC. So in here once again has those vasodilating properties. So I literally had to cut this as we got to this part because I suck at pronouncing this and I'm still going to pronounce it wrong. But next ingredient in here is that pterostilbene, and I'm not 100% sure why this is in here. Not in terms of like, oh, it's bad, but like maybe there's something that I am unaware of for the reason that this ingredient is in here. Because it's known as beta-resveratrol, which essentially has like more fat loss orientated properties to it, to do with like glucose control and stuff. So there could be some sort of process that these guys understood with formulation and, glucose and lipids that I am just unaware of. And if that is the case, I hope to find out because I will learn something myself. But there could be a deeper reason that that ingredient is in here. But I have no idea why that is. So we'll skip past that. Unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to explain the reason that that ingredient is in here. Next on the list, we have thecrine, which is essentially an alternative form of caffeine. Slower release. There is apparently some benefit to the fact that you adapt to it less than caffeine. It is here in only a 30 milligram dose, so not that much. But what that means is the caffeine content is actually probably closer to that of 250, not just 225. So caffeine content is even higher with the addition of that thecrine in there. You have some vitamin B3, vitamin B6, and then this one nearly got me because I was like, there's no way it's in here in this low of a dose. I thought it was 0.05 micrograms, and I was like, what? But it's 0.05 milligrams, making it 50 micrograms is where we would want to see it. But this huperzine A, which is an ingredient that helps with destroying the enzymes responsible for breaking down acetylcholine in the brain, which essentially means that alpha GPC helping with the production of acetylcholine, and then you have your huperzine A in here to help with reducing the enzymes responsible for breaking down acetylcholine in the brain to actually help with maintaining more of that acetylcholine in the brain to have more of an effect on that mental focus, on the energy, on your reactivity apparently, and speed. And then the last ingredient in here is a vitamin B12. So overall, with a formula like that, at the price point of $59.95 for 40 serves, that's actually insane. Like, it is a really good product for that price point. It is no way, I would say, the best nootropic out there, but for that price, that is hella good. And it is definitely not the worst that we have seen. And even in comparison, like, I know like the way that these guys are marketing themselves, they're putting themselves in that like energy drink alternative market more than they are going super hard in that kind of nootropic space that we've seen with other products like attention and brain gains and all that kind of stuff. They're in that G Fuel Gamer Subs type market. And that being said, that this formula is unreal, and I think they could, even if they wanted to, I don't know what direction they're going in. I know a lot of companies, I can use Brain Gains for an example, they did like a black version. So they had like almost their kind of like mainstream applicable formula, which would get the job done for like 90% of people. And then they come out with like a black version, which was like definitely more of a hardcore, more expensive, people who really knew what they were looking for in a nootropic, kind of something like that. And these guys, I don't know, might do the same. This is my 2 cents. Like, they're probably definitely not going to do that, but they could, because I know that some of the guys in the ownership of this company come from a mainstream sports supplement background. So there is that potential as well that they all clearly love their formulas, and that's why this has been put together so well. They clearly know their price point and who they're competing against, hence why it come down to be that little bit cheaper. And they've nailed their flavor, because I've only had slash berry, but I'm gonna go through and try the rest eventually. I think the next one that I wanted to try was like Blue Spark. That one sounds interesting, but I'm super keen, and I hope to see like how these guys do, and I hope they do well, because they formulated something awesome, and I wanted to jump on it and have it in the shop as quickly as possible, because if there's Aussie brands doing cool shit, we want to be a part of it. But hopefully you found this review informative. I wish I could give you more of a breakdown on the flavors. We do have these sample packs online, and if, at the time, if you're watching this video, we still have live, whenever you buy a tub of Juiced, we have a free 700 or 800 ml juice shaker to go in with the product for free. Because the product sits at that $59.95 price point, you actually get free shipping with it as well. Obviously, if you use a discount code, it's going to bring it below, and therefore you could add something else on there to get above that shipping threshold. But if you are paying the full price for this product, it ships for free, Australia-wide, same day. Once again, I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, because I'm going to follow up with all of them. And if you want to see something like a comparison, say like a Juiced versus X product, or even just not even in the nootropic gaming space, you want to see some protein powders go head to head, or some thermogenic fat burners go head to head, let me know, because I love making content when I know there's hype around it, people want to see it. That's what definitely unfortunately that's what motivates me, because I'm like, people are going to want to watch this, I'm going to get it done. And then hopefully, like with reviews like this, which are a little bit more in depth on products like this, because I know a lot of the kind of gaming nootropic market, a lot of guys are just kind of mixing it up and being like, oh, it tastes like this, and not actually really kind of getting into the nitty gritty of the formula. So hopefully this was helpful. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button as well, because that'll help us with growing the channel, and that is the goal of the second half of 2021, is to grow our YouTube channel. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day.